Full Circle is a book. It's a terrorism thriller that would fit perfectly into the climate that we're living in today. And the author of that book is my guest on the Last Storyteller podcast. His name is Saxon Bailey. Mr.
Yep.
Bailey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Mr. Jim.
Tell us
And
about who Saxon Bailey is.
I'm 44 and I'm still figuring that out. I know what I'm not, but to answer that question, I guess I'm a product of today's society. But as you said earlier, the times we live in, it's leave it to a poet or an author that nobody knows to actually put it into a better perspective. And it's a shame they're only found out hundreds of years later or many years after they're gone, the actual gem that they created.
And
Yeah.
hopefully it doesn't take 100 years for Full Circle to be found out about, to be read.
Yeah, my mom's
A
an
lot of
English
people.
major, and she's always helped me write with everything. This is my first book, and it's just not my first piece of writing. But she's taught me all sorts of ways with the English language, and all sorts of rules and different writing styles. Like you have to talk the character from the knocking on the door through the hallway to the seat at the table. You can't just suddenly say they finish their discussion at the table. So when I'm reading something and it's nothing but dialogue, and then they finally go, oh, they were on the mountain. In my mind, I have to go back and put a mountain on everything I just read.
To get
So,
them to that place.
absolutely, yeah. So my mom taught me really good on that. All my writing teachers told me that they would buy my book no matter what. So if I ever wrote one. So I gave them copies of it.
So Full Circle is listed as a terrorism thriller and also a political thriller. Tell
Yep.
us about the plot without giving too much away because we want people to read it. But
Yeah, my description leaves nothing. To me, a book is an adventure. A story is an adventure. So I would rather not have a whole description on the back that tells me the whole synopsis. I'd rather have wander, because to me, I think that's precious. Basically, in a nutshell, I take two evangelical Christians, I chain them to the ground, and I make them talk. And it's the discussion that they always walk away from.
and these aren't just your everyday evangelical Christians.
No, these are just the ones on stage that lie, that don't pay taxes, that don't live by the words that they force you to or expect you to. The wolves in sheep's clothing, hypocrisy, all that.
Another name we may have for them is politicians.
Correct. On both sides.
And they are, in this case, the character is Jonathan, his wife, First
And
Lady.
Christina.
And the book begins with his aspirations, his campaign to become the world leader.
Yes, the first ever person running unopposed, by the way. So I kind of put that in. Things that could never absolutely happen. If somebody runs unopposed, someone would have to run against them. I don't think that would be a race for anything. But again, I kind of made it a wet dream for them, and just so I can remove that dream towards the end of the book.
So it is very interesting. I started reading your book and also listening to it on Audible. You narrated the
Yes. During the pandemic, I learned to sell my voice. I learned audio. I learned what your noise floor is. I've a couple of YouTube channels I really liked, kind of help shout out. I don't use AI for anything. I don't even use it to edit, which is the only way that I think AI could be used. But when I was going through and doing narration for other people's books, I would come across the fact that either they didn't edit it or right here, the AI lost track of what it was doing. And so when I would report that through ACX, I'd give the author a chance. I'd also have to charge him money because if this is AI, I have to report it because you clicked on this isn't AI. So that's another issue with Amazon that it's just absolutely insane. If you have an author with 30 books, he didn't write any of them. He maybe wrote the first one, but the rest of it's AI. And there's videos on YouTube on how to generate a book in like 20 minutes and put it on Amazon for 10 cents and hope you sell units.
circle around back to the book, but what you just brought up is a subject that's actually near and dear to me, and that is AI entering sometimes in a stealth-like manner into the world of books and authors and interfering with those. Even Amazon now on KDP, they offer an audio version of your book outside of ACX that
Yes.
uses AI voices. And I've listened to those. I actually put a chapter of one of my earlier books on there just to hear what it would be, because I've been with ACX for a number of years now. I've got, I think, 5 or 6 titles over there. They're all done by hired actors. So I wanted to see what is this like? Because obviously it's less expensive. It's free, basically. And
It's effortless, it's tasteless, they all sound the same, I mean,
they
it's
do.
no effort, to me, it's, "I am gonna make you dinner." Well, I just drove to McDonald's. It's not really making me dinner,
No,
you
it's
know?
not. And
Yeah.
and you're right. There's no emotion.
Oh, there's weird emotion that doesn't make any sense, but, I mean, I'd rather narrate a terrible author's real book than some computer-generated crap that wasted my time.
And and there's a lot, unfortunately, there's a lot out there. To level the playing ground, I think editing with AI is acceptable as long as it's
I s
only looking for grammatical type of stuff.
Yes, I do like using my dog clicker. I learned that too. So a click sound makes a spike that I'll never make. So
Right.
whenever I make a mistake or I want to repeat a line, and then I'll see it. So I know where all my mistakes are. So
So
me
people
editing
know
my audiobook was really meticulous. So I did that
people know
myself.
what you're talking about.
Mhm.
I have
You
one
do it
sitting
too?
there on my
Yeah.
desk all the time. I'm actually
Genius.
yeah, I'm actually, Saxon, right now, I'm narrating one of my own books. I haven't done that in the past.
It feels good, doesn't it, to do your
It
own, not
does.
somebody else's?
It does, and
Yeah.
you're learning about, things like you mentioned, DBs and floor noise and all that stuff that has to go through, the whole engineering process, and I could hire a sound engineer to do all that, or I can learn. I'm retired now, so I have lots of time to learn.
Yeah, I like learning new stuff, like, all the time. I'm
It's a lot
learning
of fun.
mortgages as we speak.
I wanna get back now to the reason you're here, and that's to talk about Full Circle. First of all, what inspired you to start writing? And more specifically, was there a moment in that experience that led to Full Circle?
Well, I think everyone should write a book. I think everyone should make an album of songs. I think that's something that everyone should want to do, not an autobiography, or it could be, that's fine. But when it came to me, it's just honestly, to me, I think poetry, I think authors, I think these are the ones that actually can really sound an alarm of things that they see. And these are things that I see. I mean, the average Christian, the everyday person is a nice person. I'm not after them. I'm after the guy on stage that doesn't pay taxes, that has a Harlem, okay, that probably molests kids. I have a whole list here of people that are millionaires right now. Some of them are in prison, some of them are not. But these are famous names that you would know. Like, the funniest one to me I bring up all the time is Ted Haggard. Does that name ring a bell?
Not to me, it doesn't.
Okay, well, he was a head of a church. He's the one, basically, he got caught with meth and got caught with a male prostitute, and then he asked for forgiveness, and then he got caught with meth and a prostitute again. But this man's a millionaire, leads a whole congregation, and it doesn't make any sense to me how you can't vet these people. How can you even still listen to someone or even go to that church? If my auto insurance got caught systematically molesting kids, I wouldn't have that auto insurance. So to me, it's wolves in sheep's clothing that I'm after. I'm after bullies. I'm not after the average everyday believer. So seeing them constantly get caught and constantly lie, kind of over it. On a personal note, my father was a monster. He was an absolute monster in the worst, absolute of ways. And the second he got caught, went to church 3 times a week. Never went to church a day in his life while I was alive until the day he got caught. And then suddenly he's at church 3 days a week. So, I mean, to me, uh, I just think church is the most dangerous place you can take a kid, at least right now.
Well, it's interesting, that thought process, because we do today, we hear about a company or a product that is doing something that is abhorrent, something that we think is terrible, and we cancel them, so to speak, either by canceling a subscription to a streaming movie, or we quit buying a product, or we get on social media and we try to cancel those folks. I would agree that it is less likely to become public when it comes to religion or comes to a church. There's stories that go back to the first century about corruption within the halls of Christianity or any of that. In fact,
Well, I mean, I chose Christianity specifically because it is the one that is around me. That's the one I chose. Because, I mean, naturally, I'm an atheist. Because in my mind, me and you are brothers no matter what. I'm brothers with everyone. I'm sisters with everyone. Because let's face it, the fact that we're here talking to each other literally means we won the biggest race ever. Because there's 200 million sperm that we had to race against. So to me, I think that right there is absolutely spectacular in itself. To where I don't need a lamb, I don't need a lion. I don't need a story about any of that. To me, that is amazing. I think if we can set ourselves on a plane of respect and love for each other, I mean, that's to me, that's something that we still have yet to achieve.
With the perspective of how you wrote this book,
Yeah. I'm not
how
the cure. I'm merely the injection. I'm pissed off. I'm over this and I'm sick and tired of it. And here it is, I mean, you got people that are supposedly supposed to love thy neighbor, and I have not seen anyone do that
well,
ever.
I'm gonna pause there just for a second to let you know, and my listeners know, that I am a Christian. I'm
Yes, sir.
a man of great faith, and I understand that not everybody is ever gonna believe what I believe, think the way that I think, and if I go back to the roots of my own belief system, if I go back to the roots of Christianity, that person who understood that not everybody's the same walked among those people without hesitation, never
That
turned.
is a good part of the Bible. That's a good part of the story. That's the good thing to have. You know what I'm saying? But it's take three people of three religions, ask them this question. Show me a passage in your books that says that you're supposed to love everyone. They'll find it. They'll quote it from memory. But then I can say, show me the passage that says, kill everyone else and you're the ruler of this world. They'll all have the same. So to me, I'm trying to teach people, the listener, the reader, to take the good things, not these crazy bad things. Because all of you eat shrimp, all of you wear clothes of different cloths, and those are considered silly rules at the times. Well, how about the love each other thing? Can't y'all just use that a little more? Because it's literally guys just saying horrible stuff, and they're making millions because they have a podcast and they're saying horrible things about my fellow Americans. It's absolutely gross. I mean, to me, I feel like I'm cleaning house for the Christians. I got to point this out because some of these people you've never heard of, like Ted Haggard. Ted Haggard, to me, it's hilarious, but I mean, it's just a funny read. He ain't the only one, but he's also one of the people that got caught. But to me, I take with John and Christina, the things that they say literally are a collage of the same barfed up things that they've all said. So John and Christina represent all of them. And Christina represents every wife in America. Strong leader of the pack, always considered second for some godly reason. So there's lots of layers to it. So
Yes.
I spend a lot of time trying to, if you have empathy at all, you'll laugh. You're going to see this book. It's actually a comedy to some people. So I think I wrote a thriller that can both be scary to one reader and adventurous to another and absolutely hilarious to someone else. So I think I created a good device.
When creating the characters, we find ourselves sometimes as writers that those characters they actually start to take on a life of their own. That
Agreed.
they're carrying us instead of us carrying them. Were there any moments in writing full circle and writing these characters? There's three main characters. We've spoke about Jonathan and Christina, and then there's Mister, simply Mister.
Yes. When I was younger, I remember, I can't remember if it's a movie or a show. It's like, hey, what's your name? Mister's fine. And I have always adored that. I thought that was great. So,
In the characters, was there a moment in the story where you felt like, okay, they're in control now? The character had become so large that you had to follow the character instead of leading the character.
well, when it comes to, I don't want to give anything away because, like I said, there's so many twists in this for not for 186 pages, 88, I think. Basically, my favorite teachers were always my science and my music teachers and my writing teachers. Those are my favorite. Not my English teacher, not my math teacher, like not the history teacher. But those are not my subjects. Those are not the ones I like. So I kind of put all my science teachers and their smart quips that I remember, and especially Mr. May, my sixth grade science teacher. So I kind of put them all together. But to me, Mr. is more of injection because authors do that. And I'd rather an author do that, So to me, it's almost like I myself am Mr. So I kind of put myself in that room. And it just made things a lot easier when it came to writing because things just flowed out. Because to me, it's situational. And I do say the F word a lot, and it is kind of vulgar, but I mean, that's not my intention to be vulgar. It's just to express the anger and the disgust. But Mr. was my favorite of the characters. And with John and Christina, they pretty much wrote themselves because, like I said, they were kind of, frames of a whole collage of, the stuff that I've heard people like them say before. So I just put them all together into two horrible people.
Mister is, like you said, is an injection of Saxon Bailey into the story. You
In
don't know
reality.
Yeah, you don't do it in a first person narrator form. He's still over here, but you're able to be part of him during that story. When you did the audio version, did you find yourself in the dialogue that Mr. has, did you find yourself becoming more of you in that moment or more of him? And
More of me, to be honest, because, Mr. It's kind of a lead, but for me, I only changed the tone of voice so many decibels, and then that was it. So that was Mister's voice, and that's how I described him. And, I'm a low talker myself. I mean, he could be nothing but a big, burly, low-toned, grizzly gorilla of a man.
it's funny because when we listen to audio books, there are very few of the books that I've listened to have I not read first. I usually don't go to the Audible first. I usually go to the book first. And when you have a good narrator or actor playing that part, they bring that person into a vision inside your head. How often it was exactly like I pictured them, I think, tells me a lot about the skill set of a narrator in order to do that. There's some that I think have fallen way short because of what my own expectation was and how the author had either described that person directly or indirectly, and it takes away from the story.
I get with that. I do honestly, I do read more of the books than the audiobooks. I used to drive trucks across the country, so I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And with me, it's pronunciation. I do remember I got a Star Wars one of a book I already read, but I just wanted to hear something. And the planet's called Coruscant. That's the pronunciation, like croissant. And the narrator goes Coruscant. And the second I heard that, I threw it out the window. Can't do it. I can't listen to it now, it totally ruined me. I like audiobooks. I think they're a different adventure, especially ones with sound effects and stuff. I didn't go that far, it's a whole theatrical thing. From, like, the '30s radio, but I totally thought about that. Slamming of doors, the clanking, the dragging of a chair. I totally thought about all that, but I was just way too much in production.
I like there's some of those I've heard I actually enjoy listening to when they do that radio style instead of the book style. I would never do that in my own books. I'm hoping that my words are enough that I don't
Yeah,
need sound effect to
correct.
to add to those add
Yeah, to me, the dialogue exchange is my forte. It's not my book doesn't have explosions or any of that stuff. It's tense situations, the tense conversations that they can't escape. So basically, the one line that got this whole thing started was Mister. Once the conversation starts, it's got to come to its conclusion, and these are the rules that Mister sets forth. So in Mister's mind, when it starts is when he says, "You are not a Christian. Ask your God to free you. I'll wait." So we all know what happens if anybody's in that situation. You're not going nowhere. So then you got to talk about it, and that's what my book does.
and that is a powerful line.
Thank you.
It stops I think what stopped me as a reader to first of all to appreciate the line itself.
Yeah, lots of things are at stake. So delusions of grandeur need to go away real quick.
I'm
So,
always when I'm reading, especially since I elected to do podcasts with indie writers, I'm looking even more so for those lines that I think that the line itself is a story. Publishing your first book is a huge milestone. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced in both the written book and the audio versions of the book? What kind of challenges did you face, and that you think, okay, next time I'm going to do it like this?
okay, let's go with the writing process. This took 6 years. I didn't want to force it. I had my laptop next to me all the time in the oil field. I always had it with me. I could write anytime I wanted, but I had to wait and I would reread stuff. Be like, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's where I want to go. I had lots of brainstorming ideas. And this is only 188, 186 pages. It's the beginning of more stories. So I do have the second book being written. I'm halfway through it, but I don't want to force anything. There's no due date. I'd rather it be a natural flow from me because honestly, if I've tried this, if I forced myself to finish a chapter, I won't like the chapter. I'll reread the whole book and go, that's the chapter I hate because I forced it. That's not how I want them to sound. But also, you said you're reading the book. I intentionally made all the text different to make it look like it was written by a psycho. So that's why it's a little bit different. I kept it that way. I thought that was great. 'cause I don't wanna do a normal book like anyone else, you know? Some books don't break the fourth wall, mine does. If you catch on at the end of the book, everyone's gonna look for it, and, it's really funny to me, and I'm not giving that away 'cause to me, I think that's, you know, that's the cherry on top is the last, like, 2 paragraph.
But we definitely don't want to do that.
No,
Not
no.
only for the listening audience, but for the person reading your book.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, you're gonna get it and be like, "Oh,
You're
yeah,
gonna
I
get
swear
one.
you're gonna do it."
It is unique in the formatting. It's unique. We don't see it very often. That
People like my name, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna try to fit in a mold or be normal, and I found it kinda highly annoying, honestly, is, you know, "Hi, here's my book," and, you know, "No, no, no, here's my new book," and, "Okay, great." My commercial on TikTok, I don't watch TikTok because it rots your brain, but, I do make commercials and upload my monologues at Mister, and I hit over 1,000,000 views on my one commercial that I did because I didn't do it normal, you know? It's basically, "Fuck you, buy my book," because I don't care, and it took off.
congratulations. Yeah,
It's that old
social
South Park, you know, it's, I don't know if you watch South Park, but there's an episode where Cartman owns a theme park, and he made a commercial of "You can't come," and then everybody started showing up. To me, I kinda related to that.
no. Well, it's okay to follow or shadow the success of people that have gone before us because they were successful. If we're
Yeah,
not learning from those people, then what are we doing?
correct. Yeah. I
Um,
love learning, I like learning new stuff. I don't think anybody's ever gonna stop, you know, education's a daily thing. You know, and, yeah, I think that people should go to school for free. I don't know how this stuff costs a lot of money, and you should be in debt half your life. You know, education should be definitely free.
the going back to the formatting here for just a second, because when you're going into well, even on your laptop or into a word processor or into Kindle, it's going to try to correct that formatting every time because it's going to see.
Yeah, yeah, like lots of videos I had to do on that. The audiobook, gave me less complications than actually uploading the book. So be aware on that, 'cause, you'll have to go in and change the font size, you'll have to change your paragraph spacing, you'll literally have to go through and manually each one and click and pull and drag, and I didn't wanna do that, and when I looked through it the first time, I'm like, "Wow, this looks like it was written by a crazy guy, like Mister himself wrote it," you know? So that's kind of, you know, the thing I want people thinking is Mister's the architect of all of it, because he is.
So you get to the point where now it's in there. You hit the publish now button, and you've gone from being a writer to being an author.
Yes, sir. And dealing with Amazon has been a pain. For some reason, there's another author with the name Saxon on my page, and I've emailed him about it saying, "Who is this person?" Somehow y'all tied my names together as the last name of someone else. They still haven't emailed me back on that. I don't
Yeah.
know who that person is, but it's on the Facebook page, or I mean the Amazon page. Basically, it took a week to get it uploaded into there. And then
Yeah.
after that, you have to pay for advertising. I don't want to do that. It's like 10, yep, that's a whole other nightmare. You know, basically it's 15 cents a day or something like that. Because if you do 30 cents a day, it might jump up to where you now have $100 taken out of your account. Okay, because they go by clicks and all that and by views. It's an absolute nightmare. Just upload it and then the rest will come.
And that's
Right.
good. It's good to hear you say that, and for our listeners to hear that. Amazon is going to entice you to do exactly that. What you realize, and this is through my own experience, is that clicks do not equate to conversion.
Nope.
Uh, People click on those things all the time,
And
and
robots, and they
yeah,
cost you money.
right. And it's not really selling books. You mentioned TikTok, 1,000,000 views. That's incredible. I
Thanks.
I am 4 times older than anybody on TikTok, but my daughter last year, I wrote a book, it's called Her Name is Grace, and it's about a young boy who is battling his own gender identity, and he is in the world that is filled with churches and
Mhm.
grandpas who do
Yeah.
these things. And it's not my typical audience. It's geared towards a younger audience. And my daughter says, "You got to get it on TikTok." I said, "TikTok is where people do stupid things and dance." And I said, "It doesn't make any sense."
Brain
But
rot.
yeah, I went ahead and did it, and I was surprised at the number of views. It was, I mean, 10 times, 20 times more than any place else, but I still wasn't getting conversion. Your 1,000,000 views, did it convert for you?
One sale. Swear to God. I mean, I'm having more fun with this because I'm laughing with it. I mean, I created an alter ego. Her name is Ethel Kind. Her email is JesusLovesGranny1 at mail.com. And I email these horrible people and their churches, and I get back not a human being. It's like an experiment. I get back nothing but propaganda, or we would like your money, or we would like to be a part of your will. Okay. That one got me. They knew that she was an old lady and they sent her an email that
Uh-huh.
said, "Hey, let us be a part of your will." Yeah, like leave part of your house to the church kind of stuff. Creepy stuff. Absolutely creepy stuff. You know, but again, I'm having fun with this,
Well,
social
that that
media. Yeah.
that that
That's the
is a
whole point.
story in itself. You
Yeah, it's the whole point.
mentioned another book. Is it a sequel?
Yes, absolutely. Because there's conversations I'm telling you, you're just gonna wanna hear Mr. speak. You're gonna wanna know what Mr. said to that truck driver at the doorstep. You're gonna wanna know what Mr. said when he first woke up from the hospital. You're gonna wanna know this stuff because I make reference to it. It's like, "Oh, man, what did he say?" 'Cause I try to give Mr. as all of his words as much weight as possible. It's also why I made him a little slower when he talks, deeper voice, more commanding, so that people would listen to how he is saying and what he is saying. So to me, I think it kind of works.
You mentioned that you put 6 years
It's when I first started. Yep.
into this, and I believe that effort paid off for you.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Mr. Jim.
What you're describing now and developing Mr. or any of the characters, but primarily Mr. is it could have been written much quicker and with less dimensions to it.
Yeah, and less of my heart into it because I mean,
Yes,
I
and
really want my whole heart in something. And if somebody tells me I put my whole heart in this book, I'll read it. I would want to read that one more. You know what I mean? Rather than I put it together. How much did you make? I don't really care if I make any money on this. I
mm,
really don't. I'm having fun. I'm a published author. I did my own audiobook and not somebody else's. And if I can change someone's mind for the better to be nicer to other people at the forefront as a base, then I think I did a good job.
you're a narrator,
Yes.
so you do. I mean, you offer your services also.
Yep. Yep. That's been a nightmare in itself because like I said, I'll get to like chapter 5 or 6 and then it will not make any sense. And then I have to tell the narrator, hey, or the author, hey, maybe you missed this, blah, blah, blah. And they never get back to me and they always want to cancel the contract. So I started to do voiceover stuff with DLCs for video games. Like a lot of pirate games are coming out, "Arr, arr," doing voices and stuff. So that to me has been fun. I haven't landed anything yet, but it's just still fun to audition.
Well,
Um,
you've got to stick with it. I think
yeah,
it's
it's fun to do
it's
once a
like
week.
well, it's like being an independent author. You put out Full Circle, and the moment that you put out Full Circle, you join this enormous group of independent writers that walk into Amazon's dungeon every single month for
Yeah.
200,000, over 200,000. So it's
Yeah.
hard to get noticed. I mentioned YouTube and TikTok. Have you done other things?
My book before that,
Well,
well,
no,
I have
for promote.
promoting. I've got QR codes for, I got shirts. I've made actual T-shirts. I've been memeing like crazy on Instagram, just putting just my novel over stuff, a picture of my front cover. And to me, that's been hilarious. So I've made some shirts and I gave my audiobook so far. I've given links to 3 or 4 people that do review audiobook, their channels on YouTube, but they haven't gotten back to me or gotten around to it yet. I mean, and just basically just sending it out. A physical mail, I did do a few just because I wanted to. And since my mom's a retired school teacher, I went to her place and I got what is it? Those old school grade books, remember the green ones?
Yes.
Okay, so I ripped a clean page out of that and I wrote "Let's Talk" and I like Mister wrote it and I sent it to Howard Stern just 'cause I like Howard Stern. If I ever did anything, I was gonna send it to him. So I sent one to Howard Stern. I've sent one to The Daily Show. So to me, the physical mail was fun. I got to make little cutouts and stuff, and little coupons that Amazon gives you, for your audiobook and stuff. So to me, that was the physical part, the fun of it.
I think anyone out there aspiring to become a writer, to publish a book or do an audio book, if they listen to the creativity that you've used in promoting the book is equal to, if not more, than the creativity in writing a book. You have to be able to do all those things. You don't want to take any of them off completely.
No, I
I
thought
would,
about renting a billboard in New York for 10 grand or something.
well,
Just to put it up there for a day or 2. So all the ideas.
if if you have money to do that type of thing. There's a lot of people out there that are willing to take your money and say, "Hey, I'll get you to number 1 by the end of the week." And all those people, I put them in one category. They're called liars, and a lot of them are rich liars because we're so gullible on those things. But even going to your local markets, doing the mailers, I mean, if you had 5 minutes with Howard Stern, your book would blow up because people listen to Howard Stern.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and
and
that's kinda my audience. I mean, my subject is so taboo. I mean, some people that I work with, they're like, "I like you, I think you're a nice person, but from what you told me about your book, that they just don't want their faith shaken." And I get that, I get that, you're allowed to have that, but, I mean, to me, my book is that taboo because it's that conversation none of these people wanna have. Another fun fact, I'm the first review on my book, I'm also the first bad review, so, I made it up. I put 5 stars, but it's on the very bottom that says
um,
"Average Christian." It says, "This guy stands up for gay rights and women's rights. I'll be protesting outside his house soon, I know it." That's what I wrote, and I
yeah,
laughed I've been laughing the entire time at this, and as long as I'm having fun, I think this is all worth it.
it came out. It was first published a couple of years ago.
Yep, yep, absolutely, yep, I did the book, and then I was finishing the audiobook because I still wanted to get that right, a lot of dog clicks,
And
and honestly, I prefer that way. I don't use AI to edit a damn thing, honestly, and, my mom's still alive, and she's retired, so I know she wants to edit my book. I'm terrible with commas,
I
never
don't
used
know
them.
who knows the actual answer to this question, but how many books were edited and published before AI was ever even thought of? It's the numbers has got to be so large that nobody could ever figure it out. So it can
Yeah,
be done without artificial intelligence. One of the things that we've talked about the writing of the book, the editing of the book, and the promotion of your book. The other thing that we overlook sometimes is we have to grab someone's attention with the description of the book. Yours starts off this way. It says, "Warning, this book will destroy your faith." What are your hopes that readers take away from this book?
well, okay, that is the hook because it's not a Christian bashing book. It's just a reality setting book. Okay. So to me, I think people being angry is another form of masturbation. I watch them do it, and we all see them do it. Someone that is justifiably angry. I'm angry for a just reason. Got it. You see what I'm saying? And they literally just pick all sorts of stuff. So I want those people. I want them to look at it and go, "Oh my God, this son of a bitch," and then look at my book and read it because it's not at all what you think, which I think is a great book. If you look at it and read the description and go, "This guy's an ass." This book in it, I have way more depth and way more juicy stuff in that book to where it's not what you think. Like, I'd rather religion go back to the old timey where everyone actually is created equal, where everyone actually loves everyone. You know what I'm saying? But again, I digress. That's kind of what I'm doing with my description. It's a hook, and that's literally what it is. And to me, I hope it doesn't really destroy a person's religion. I wanted to put them into their religion to a more better perspective. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'd rather encourage someone to take the good things out of the Bible, the nice stories, the things that tell you to love everyone, to accept the immigrant, to love thy neighbor, not the fire and brimstone and using the F word and shit and all that, for everybody. The fire and brimstone stuff doesn't work anymore. Now, there's got to be more of a camaraderie. But when I look at a book and I read a description and I can guess the book, I'm disinterested. I
Yeah.
don't want to read it. I'd rather not give the reader anything.
Your description is, I think you describe it as a hook, and I think it can be a hook that is either going to pull somebody in or a hook that's going to hurt enough that people are going to go away from it.
Mm,
I
that's
thought I thought of it as I read it, knowing that you and I had already spoke through email at that time, and you were very generous in giving me a biography, if you will, of who you are as a writer, and not just depending on me just to look at a book and read a book.
yeah.
And I appreciated you doing that up front. What it
No,
re-
you're welcome.
and after that portion of our conversation, and then reading the description, the full circle of Fourth Reich Nightmare. What
Which we're
I
living.
what it reminded me of is being in a room with somebody, and say you're sitting in a bar somewhere, and you and I are sitting across from each other, and then you look up and over my shoulder, you see somebody and you look at me and say, "Hey, don't turn around." The first thing I want to do is turn around.
Yes, yes, that's it. Yeah, it's a human thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a human trait, and I do love that. And to me, there's some things that I think humans do that are wonderful and great, and there's other things I think humans do that are not so great.
Well, we know where we can get Full Circle on Amazon and on Audible. Are there other places that folks can get this book and
Yeah, well, okay. At the bottom, I say that there are more Mister's monologues because that's the forte. That's the dynamite. That's the drop. I mean, he kind of uh, talks about lots of stuff. When I was younger, I've always had my hair down. I've always had long hair, and someone called me Garbage Jesus. I own the names to Garbage Jesus on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. They're all just about the book and the monologue and some videos of my cat, Mr. Frankie Doo, who is right there looking at me. I rescue cats and I used to rescue animals and stuff. But life changes, so I've still got just one left. My favorite rescue, Mr. Frankie Doo. I
ah,
had yeah. If you rescue an animal, rescue the old ones because they know what happened. And once they warm up to you, they will be the sweetest things ever. The kittens don't understand. So Pepper and Cheese Mew, those are the kittens. Yeah, Mr. Frankie do help me out with them. Like, he was really, really nice when they were young. So he would pick when they'd walk into another room, he'd go pick them up and bring them right back over to the bed. He was really cool about it. But Mr. Frankie do knows what happened. He knows he got adopted.
well, I guess technically the offspring would not be rescue. They're lineages of that, and like so many people, we tend to forget our lineage and move on with who we are, who we want to be. Full circle. Folks, you can go to Amazon. You can get the book there. You can add it to your Kindle Unlimited library. You can get it in hardcover. You can get it in paperback, and you can get it in audiobook.
I recommend my niece, Susie Q. She played Amy in chapter 6. So I did have some help with that. But it worked out because the character in the book is talking through a tablet. So I just held the phone up to the mic like this and told her to repeat. And she goes, "What's that clicking?" I was like, "Nothing, just say it again."
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun project for me and my niece to do. Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
All right, guys. Listen, you know what to do. I'll make it real simple for you. We're going to put the links in the show notes to Full Circle. And while you're there on his website, be sure and follow. He's got a sequel coming out, and I've just got this gut feeling that we won't forget about Saxon Bailey. I think there's
Yeah,
more to come in the
I hope so.
future for you.
My mom, my sister actually named me. I have a brother whose first name is Major, and because my mom just liked that name. So my sister was studying the Saxon Vikings, and my mom liked the name. And I was born like 11 pounds and
Wow.
quote unquote a rock. So
Ah,
yeah, I've always been tall, man. So I've always been a big kid. So you're a big kid in like fourth grade when they call just you to go move furniture. I'm like, man, I'm all fat and tall. So
well,
I
you're
appreciate you letting me on. It's a wonderful show. Absolutely. And I think what you're doing is great because I
well,
mean,
thank you.
it is a sea of Amazon stuff. It is so hard to have anybody look at your book, you know. And I just don't want to give Amazon $100 a day budget to, I'd rather get it out another way.
Well, and that's what I hope this podcast does for you. We'll put it here. It'll also be on YouTube where people want to come and watch and listen to the podcast. So
And please let me know your opinion when you're done. I love reviews. I get no organic reviews. I love it or hate it. I want to know. I really do. It's interesting.
absolutely, absolutely, and I covet that from our listeners too. Just put comments in there. Let us know what you think of the show and of our guests. And if you've read his book or are reading his book, let us know about that too. But the better place to give the reviews is actually on the site. It's part of the algorithm of the great Amazon in order to get these books where more people are seeing them. It's been a
Yes,
lot of fun,
sir.
sir. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Jim. Have a good day, sir.